The women's volleyball team plunged into their gauntlet of their first season.
Plus, the women's soccer team shows their grit.
Thank you for joining us. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam! Dunk! Oh, that's a poster.
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
How's it going, everybody? I'm Gavin Olin. I'm here with Evan Henry. Evan, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, doing great.
That is good.
The Marquette's women's swimming team has named Joel Rawlings as the team's first head coach in program history.
Rollins previously served as the head coach for the swim and diving team at MSOE.
Women's swimming is set to dive into their first season starting in fall of 2026.
The Golden Eagles golf season continues with an 11th place finish at the Honors Course in Chattanooga on Monday and Tuesday.
First year, Misha Kanidis leads the Marquette squad, shooting 4 over par this weekend.
Third year, Mason Schmidtke also finishes in the top 40, scoring 7 strokes over par and tying for 36th.
In a competitive field, the Golden Eagles finished second to last overall and put up the worst 2 scores in rounds 2 and 3 of the week.
Ole Miss takes home gold in the Invitational as the Rebels shoot 10 under par as a team.
MU Golf's next event comes just in 2 weeks as they head to Lake Forest, Illinois to compete in the Wyndon Memorial Classic at Knollwood Club on September 29th and 30th.
Last night, the women's volleyball team hosted the number 7 ranked Wisconsin Badgers.
The first set starts and both teams trade points.
But the Badgers get fierce and quickly take control of the game, forcing a Marquette timeout.
And out of the timeout, the Golden Eagles still don't have an answer for the Wisconsin ball.
The Badgers take the first set, and things don't get much better for Marquette, as the second set is a disaster.
The Golden Eagles hit in the negatives for the second set and lose the set 25-14.
The third set is a battle with both teams delivering strike after strike. The Golden Eagles find themselves trailing 19-18.
But Wisconsin ranked number 7 in the country for a reason, and they put away the game, sweeping Marquette in 3 sets.
In the loss, senior outside hitter Natalie Ring shines.
The Madison native records a team-leading 10 kills.
The team is now set to take on the number 15 ranked Florida Gators in the Ryan Ty SS revenge game this Friday. Fans of both sides brought the energy to last night's game. MUTV assistant sports producer Nate Bradley brings us more.
I'm outside Fiserv Forum where last night it wasn't a basketball game being played here, but a different kind of game inside this famous arena.
2 years after setting the NCAA attendance record for a regular season indoor volleyball match, the Marquette women's volleyball team faced off against their rivals from the state capital, the number 7 ranked Wisconsin Badgers, at Fiserv Forum. With the student section in full swing and the band and spirit squad in mid-season form, the players from both Marquette and Wisconsin were both delighted by the turnout from the fans.
The atmosphere was great. I mean, credit to the Marquette community and athletics and the fans for showing up. I think it was a great opportunity and atmosphere for everyone to be there, and our fans were there loud and supporting us throughout the whole match.
And even then, even if they're not ours, I think they're still fans of the game. You know, they come out and support both these Wisconsin schools. And I just think, you know, it's so fun, it's so loud, it's a fun game to watch. And I think it was a really competitive game for them to watch tonight.
Game-wise, Marquette was bested by Wisconsin, who took all 3 sets. Natalie Ring and Hattie Bray led the charge offensively for the Golden Eagles. Ring's performance didn't go unnoticed either.
With players of her caliber, I think she's putting up an All-American season up to this point.
It will be another 2 years before the Marquette-Wisconsin volleyball series returns to Milwaukee, though we are just a few weeks away from the return of Golden Eagle sports to the 4-1 Forum. For Marquette Wire Sports, I'm Nate Bradley.
The women's soccer team hosts the Loyola Chicago Ramblers at Valley Fields.
It only takes 5 minutes when the Ramblers strike first, giving Loyola a quick 1-0 lead.
Marquette only tallies 3 shots in the first half and failed to find the back of the net.
Loyola holds on to that 1-0 lead going into halftime.
In the second half, the Golden Eagles refused to quit.
Nope, they rally and score in the 74th minute to tie the game when sophomore forward Jocelyn Lehigh heads one into the goal.
Neither team manages to score again, resulting in a tie game at the Valley.
Coming up next, do the men's soccer team continue their hot streak?
Plus, who's taking home our weekly awards?
Stick around for all of that and more after the break.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Action!
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Gavin Olin, joined by Evan Henry.
On Saturday night, Marquette men's soccer takes on Lipscomb Bison at Valley Fields.
The match's only goal is scored by fourth-year forward Mitchell Dryden in the 20th minute.
This was Dryden's third goal of the season and propelled the Golden Eagles over the visiting Bison.
After the win, Marquette men's team now sits at 3 wins, 2 ties, and 0 losses.
The Golden Eagles play Creighton on Friday to start Big East play.
This weekend, Marquette volleyball host to a triple header.
In their first match versus Ball State, they took a loss in 5 sets.
But the Golden Eagles bounced back on Saturday with a 3-set sweep of James Madison University.
And they finished the weekend off with another sweep versus the neighboring UW Milwaukee Panthers. After a busy week in Marquette athletics, some Golden Eagles soar higher than others.
Here are the week's edition of Weekly Awards.
Starting us off with our team of the week, we have the men's soccer team.
The boys go 1-0 on the week, their shutout win over Lipscomb.
Moving on to our MVP of the week, where Natalie Ring gets her flowers.
On the week, Ring records a whopping 58 kills in 4 games for Marquette.
She leads the volleyball team with 147 total kills on the season.
Our rising star of the week is forward Jocelyn Lay.
The sophomore scored the game-tying goal in the draw versus Loyola.
Coming up this week in Marquette athletics, women's volleyball takes on the Florida Gators and former Marquette head coach Ryan Tice at 6 p.m. at the Al on Friday.
On Saturday, men's soccer heads to Omaha to battle it out against the Creighton Blue Jays at 7 p.m.
On Sunday, volleyball continues their ranked gauntlet with a matchup versus 12th-ranked Minnesota at 5 p.m. at the Al McGuire Center.
And finally, men's soccer will play at UW Milwaukee on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Coming up, does Joe Burrow need to be saved?
Plus, is Indiana Jones legit? Find out after the break.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
And welcome back to Studio 7 as we discuss disappointments and heartbreak in football. Joining me on the panel tonight is Matthew Perez and Zach Pomeyville. Let's get started. Both the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Clemson Tigers have been wildly disappointing in 2025. Out of the two, which has been more disappointing? What are your thoughts, Zach?
Look, Clemson's had a horrible year so far, but I think it's Notre Dame. The Notre Dame defense has been incredibly bad. I mean, it's crazy the statistics they're giving up after being ranked by PFF the sixth best defense in entire college football. They've allowed 34 points a game while their offense is doing well. They're having 32 points a game, and the only two teams they played are top 10 opponents at this point. So it's kind of unbelievable that they're at the situation that they're in. But, I mean, I got to say it's Notre Dame. I mean, both teams were projected to be very good teams this year, title contenders. But I'm going to say it's Notre Dame just because they got a freshman quarterback who's playing extremely well, and they're having 32 points a game against ranked opponents, and their defense just can't hold up.
Yes, and circling back on the defense, they have been struggling with basic fundamentals of like tackling and blocking. What are your thoughts, Matthew?
I'm going to have to disagree with you guys. I'm going to say Clemson's got to be the most disappointing team in all of college football, really. They were coming into this season fourth in the AP poll. And some people were thinking that they were going to win the national championship. I thought they were going to be one of the biggest contenders in this whole season. When you think of like Cade Klubnik, their quarterback, people had him going number one in most mock drafts, and he was a contender for the Heisman. And right now he's only had 633 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And those three games they played so far, the major one I'm talking about is against Troy. Coming into the game, everyone thought they were going to be the heavy favorites. But they started the game really slow, went down 16-0 really early. Luckily, they did come out with the win, but the record's standing at 1-2 with tough losses against LSU. They are the number 3rd ranked team in the nation, so I'm going to give them a little leeway with that one. But the loss against Georgia Tech, I think they should have really pulled out with that one. And that's just a game they have to have, especially for like the Clemson brand. These are wins that they should be having, and a 1-2 start to the season is just awful to me.
I'll say, I mean, 1-2 awful. They definitely did start off bad. That's for sure. I feel like this is kind of like what Dabo Swinney has done. He definitely did this last year too, where they started off very slow and then picked it up at the end and were able to, squeeze into bowl games, and they were top 15 team last year. But here's the thing. I mean, Clemson had the number 1 roster this year, and really it's been more about their quarterback than anything. But their defense has played well. I mean, it's not like their defense has allowed like that many points. The reason why I say Notre Dame is just because the expectations going in is that their defense was going to carry their freshman quarterback as they moved up, right? That really doesn't happen. Their defense has just played atrociously bad. And, I mean, they have zone coverage where wide receivers are just going into dead spots where there's nobody there, and there's Notre Dame players, there's Notre Dame safeties and corners who are just covering nothing. They're covering no player, and it's like, I don't know if it's a lack of discipline or if they're too young or what's going on with that team, But, I mean, I see your point. Like, I do see your point. Klubnik has not played well.
No, not at all.
He's not played well. But at the same time, like, the offense was supposed to be the vocal point of that team, but it hasn't had to be either. Their defense has pulled them through, like in the Troy game and stuff like that. Like, their defense allowed points to Troy, but that was more because their offense was just playing so bad too.
Yes, and to add on, Notre Dame just came back from the college football national championship, so I feel like that's why there's also a high expectation. Moving on now, we have the Bengals failed the former number 1 overall pick by not giving him adequate protection. Is he the new generation's Andrew Luck? What are your thoughts, Matthew?
You may be surprised, but I'm going to say no. When you look at Joe Burrow, there's one thing that comes to mind, and it's his injury history. It goes back to his college days at Ohio State and LSU with his broken hand, his torn ligament in his ribs, and then his tear in his MCL, ACL, and PCL. Those are 3 major injuries, let alone in college. And then he goes into his rookie year, week 11, he tears his ACL, PCL, MCL once again. And right there, you think, oh, this kid is done with 4 major injuries in his college years and his rookie year. And then fast forward 2 years later to 2023 against the Ravens, week 11 again, he tears something in his wrist. And you think, like, how can this guy keep going on? And then flash forward another 2 years to this past weekend, he gets injured again with the turf toe. So, like, the thing is, Joe Burrow is undoubtedly an amazing quarterback, and we can all agree on that. But the thing is, his injury history just puts him at such a risk, and it's hard to, like, imagine a future with this man because of all the injury history. And when you think about how the Bengals have tried to help him, obviously they've given him weapons. They've given him T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. And they have tried to give him some offensive help. Ever since they drafted him, they've drafted 8 different O-linemen over the past 5 years. And so they are trying to help out. But the thing is, with the extension of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they're not cheap people. They're a lot of money. So I personally thought they should have used some money towards the offensive line. But one thing I learned was that Joe Burrow was a big advocate for re-signing them. And that's a major reason why they re-signed him, which I thought that probably wasn't the best choice for him. And they probably should have gone with the offensive line. I don't think he should have put that forward because obviously you want to listen to your quarterback. You want to know what he wants. And I think he should have pursued for offensive.
Is he not injury prone then? Because, I mean, like you laid it out, right? He's had 6 major injuries throughout college and his NFL career. He's been in the league 6 years. He's missed significant time in 3 of those years in the NFL. Is he not injury prone at that point? Is it really on the Bengals that, it's their fault? I mean, there was a graphic up that showed their pass blocking and their O-line ranks over the past 5 years, and they've been atrocious. But, I mean, not every quarterback takes hits like that either and puts themselves in situations where they can take those hits either, right? I think it's slightly on Burrow to a point because he might just be unlucky. He might just be his body's kind of failing him like Andrew Luck did. But is it really the Bengals' fault that he's injury prone? I don't see it that way. They've equipped him with the weapons to score and win a Super Bowl, right? I mean, they got to a Super Bowl and they lost it because, Aaron Donald was insane, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to disagree with you, Zach. The 3 major injuries he had a torn ACL, a wrist ligament, and turf toe, which all requires an O-line to protect him, and the O-line has failed to do that, all because of these big hits that he's receiving. And also in Joe Burrow's rookie season, the offensive line ranked 29th in the NFL in pass block win rate, and this is key for protecting quarterback. And the organization also failed to secure a contract extension with defensive end Trey Hendrickson, who is in the team's defensive star, and that's a big impact as well. So why did they fail to extend that contract with him?
They didn't extend. I mean, they got the deal signed. They got a deal signed. Trey Hendrickson, he outplayed his contract. He played unbelievable. He signed a contract for around $14 million a year because that's what he was with the Saints, right? He wasn't a $30 million. He wasn't a premier pass rusher like we think of, Myles Garrett or anything, but he's played like that the past 2 years. That's why he's been holding out. That's why he wants more money, and they gave it to him this year. So I feel like they equipped him with something at least. I mean, the Bengals defense is still not very good, but they also brought in a new coordinator to try and fix pieces too. So I don't really think that this is on the Bengals as much as it is just unlucky and just having an injury-prone quarterback when, obviously having a bad O-line can cause a lot of injuries, but it's not the main thing that is kind of driving his injuries. It's just luck. I mean, it's just unluckiness and, being in a wrong situation in a bad time. And that's kind of where Burrow's at right now. He's an amazing quarterback, and he has the potential to be a Hall of Famer 3 times over. But will he stay healthy? It's yet to be seen. But do you not see how the O-line can do a better job of protecting him from receiving these big hits? I definitely see that. I definitely don't think that's, I definitely think that's a big part of why he's been injured, but I don't think it's the main part either. I think it's more just because he is pretty immobile quarterback, and when you're an immobile quarterback, you have to figure out a way to make mobility so that you can get out of the pocket and you can make a plan so that you can throw the ball down the field and still pick up yards, right? He hasn't really done that. And it's kind of it sucks because he's an unbelievable talent, but he is also just so prone to trying to hold back, trying to look for the deep shot instead of just taking what the defense gives him, get a 6-yard completion, and then, your drive is 4 yards, and then you got, 4 yards to go for the first down, right? If he's just chucking it to Jamar Chase every time, of course he's going to get injured because he's holding the ball for 5 seconds at a time. And if you see the statistics, those quarterbacks who hold the ball for the longest amount of time, they're the ones who get injured the most.
And when you look at a guy like Caleb Williams, just like last year, 68 times he got sacked, tied for the third most of all time. And he's still doing well. He's still going right now. Obviously, there could be potential concerns for injury with that, but that's more than Joe Burrow's ever done. He averages 33.8 times sacked a season. The most times he ever got sacked in a season was 51. That's 17 times less than Caleb Williams, and he's still going. So at the same time, there is a lot of risk with a bad O-line, but there are a lot of quarterbacks have done good with O-lines that have been awful. So it kind of just depends on the quarterback. Joe Burrow, he has that injury history, so I think it's a little of both. The offensive line is bad, but the injury history there and him just being so injury prone, it takes a big factor with that. So I'm going to take Joe Burrow being the reason.
Well, you both have valid points. Moving on to the next topic. In the first 2 weeks, Daniel Jones has made a lasting impact for the Indianapolis Colts, dominating in wins over the Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos. Do his recent performances prove he's back? What's your thoughts, Zach?
Daniel Jones is not back. Okay, Indiana Jones, I get the hype around it, but he is not back. This is his best 2-game stretch ever since he's been drafted. I mean, I checked the stats, and his last time that he had a 2-game stretch where he was this good was his rookie year, and he basically, the only reason really why was because he had a comeback win, and then the next game he threw 2 picks and 1 touchdown. So are we really going to fall for this, that Daniel Jones is going to be one of, a top quarterback now? He's going to have a Sam Darnold type of year? I don't really think so. I mean, he had a deadlock fight with Anthony Richardson for the job. And although he's played extremely well in these 2 weeks, he's also played the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos, winning off a field goal that was a 60-yarder, but then got called for leverage, so they got another chance at it 15 yards in front of it. So, I mean, I think he's played well. He's playing the system well. He has good weapons. He's out of the Giants, which, they're probably cursed, so it makes sense why he might play better. But he's still not the guy. We can't say he's revived his career or he's on top of the league right now because it's been 2 games.
Well, have you taken into thought about his 71.4 completion percentage, or has that not crossed your mind at all?
It's 2 games. It's 2 games. Is true. And you're playing the Miami Dolphins.
That is true.
The Denver Broncos is a hard matchup, but they also only had 2 touchdowns that game. They had 15 points on field goals. They had more field goal scores than they did touchdowns. I mean,
what are your thoughts?
I'm going to disagree with you. Danny Dimes is that guy. He absolutely is that guy.
Not Indiana Jones?
When you look, no, Danny Dimes. When you look at the roster that he's had this season, this is, without the doubt, the best roster he's had in his entire career. He has guys like Jonathan Taylor, who just dropped 200 rushing yards against the Denver Broncos, who are one of the best defenses in the league, with like Defensive Player of the Year Pat Surtain. They upgraded with like people like Trey Greenlaw and Hufanga last offseason. That defense is no joke. And with people like Alec Pierce, Tyler Warren, who is looking amazing right now, and Michael Pittman Jr., this offense is one of the best things he's ever had in his career. And their O-line right now is ranked 5th on PFF. The Giants, they've never had an O-line like this. I mean, they had some great weapons like Saquon, but like 2022, when they went to the playoffs and they went into Minnesota and won a playoff game, his top receiver was Isaiah Hodgins. And like that doesn't compare at all to the Colts offense right now. So I think with the right tools like he does now, he can really assert himself as, I wouldn't say a top quarterback like some people are saying. I feel like they're pushing it a lot. But I feel like he can definitely get it in the mix of being a quality starter. Like I think he has a future in the league. I think he can be a good starter for the foreseeable future.
Look, he definitely has a possibility. I mean, I'm not saying it's out of the question. I'm just saying 2 weeks in, his team is way more stacked than the Giants ever were for him, right? He has all these weapons now that he only really had Saquon in New York, right? But here's the thing too, is the Colts defense has played extremely well. They're first in turnovers, and they haven't even allowed a turnover. So the offense has not turned the ball over, and the defense has the most turnovers out of anybody. And they have the 5th best yards allowed per game. So that's the thing, is their defense has kind of, I mean, it carried through the Miami game. So then basically they could just score as much as they wanted to because Miami's defense is horrible. And if Miami can't keep up because their offense is playing horrible in week 1, like it always is, I mean, they kind of have a recipe to win that game automatically, right? The Broncos game was a difficult one, right? Bo Nix had a couple bad plays, but he also had a lot of good plays too. I think it's just way too early to say he's revived his career. If you want to say that he's playing well in a new system with a new coach, a new coordinator, yes, obviously he's playing extremely well, right? But you can't say right now that he's going to be up here when he's been down here this whole career. You can't say going forward he's going to be here. He's playing like this right now, right? He may not play like this ever again, but I'm just saying if I'm picking between he's going to play here and here, I'm picking here because I've seen 6 years of Daniel Jones. And throughout that entire time, his best year, he threw 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And that was his best year. That's what he got a $40 million contract for.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the same time, when you're watching him for those 6 years, he was on the Giants where he had people like Darius Slayton catching the balls. Now he has, with a more complete offense, that he has more to rely on. And what you said about the turnovers, that kind of complements Daniel Jones because he's able to manage the game and he's not turning the ball over so far. Obviously,
but there's more things into that though. There's running backs turning the ball over. There's kick returns turning the ball over. I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously turnovers are not just him, right? He's organized the offense very well. He hasn't thrown a pick. He hasn't turned the ball over at all. But it doesn't mean that. It also is not totally dependent on him. Turnovers are not totally dependent on the quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback usually has most.
I have to cut you guys off. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. No. Thanks for the great discussion. We're out of time. Tune in next week for all of our coverage on Marquette Sports and more. I'm Layla Hudson. Good night, Marquette.